Hello everyone, this is Balázs from 40k Theories, and welcome to this new episode of 40k Lore for Newcomers. For this episode, nominated on Patreon by Evangeline Coudrain, we will be taking a brief look at Purity Seals. This video will be a brief overview for certain events that may be explored in greater depth within additional videos in the future. So without further ado, let's begin.
Men united in the purpose of the Emperor are blessed in his sight, and shall live forever in his memory.
Purity Seals are decorative and ceremonial objects utilized throughout the Imperium of Man to symbolize one's devotion, loyalty, and, as implied by their very name, purity. In appearance, a purity seal will often take the form of a strip of parchment that has been inscribed with various litanies, prayers, and vows, which is then attached to an object or person's plating, armor, clothing, or even in some instances, their very flesh with a wax seal. Once a purity seal is adorned to a person or object, it serves as a visual cue to others that they have been both deemed free of corruption and that their dedication to the Emperor is without question. Such items, with the authorization of organizations such as the Inquisition, can even be attached to items of alien or chaotic origin, as a way to symbolize that they have been purged of any sort of taint or corruption, and have thus been sanctioned for use by Imperial citizens. While purity seals are utilized by all of the Imperium's various military and civilian institutions in some way, shape, or form, the adoption of such fetishes has emerged in two different, yet convergent ways. For the warriors of the modern-day Adeptus Astartes, the use of purity seals, or at least an equivalent, can be traced back to the days of the Great Crusade, with the swearing of vows known as Oaths of Moment. These oaths would typically be made prior to going into battle or undertaking a special mission, to reaffirm a Space Marine's loyalty to both the Imperium and the Emperor. The oath itself, always made whilst in the presence of a fellow Astartes, was written upon a strip of parchment before being attached to the Astartes armor with a wax seal. Today, many loyalist Space Marines continue to swear Oaths of Moment before going into battle, often doing so in the presence of chaplains, officers who serve as spiritual leaders and counselors for the rest of their chapter. For civilians, however, the adoption of purity seals would come about through an altogether different manner. During the Siege of Terra, the final major conflict of the Horus Heresy, the officers of the Command Praefectus, a division of the Imperial Army that would eventually evolve into the Commissariat, began conducting strict examinations of able-bodied civilians of fighting age, as well as those non-Astartes soldiers that were separated from their assigned units, in an attempt to weed out those tainted by the sickness or corruption spread by the forces of chaos. Those who passed the vetting process were granted a Mark of Purity stapled to their clothing, demonstrating to others that these individuals had been deemed fit to serve. As the siege continued, it became increasingly difficult for the loyalist soldiery to trust one another, with one's regimental markings often being obscured by thick layers of dirt and grime. Marks of purity began to serve as a way to discern who was a loyalist or traitor, eventually becoming fully adopted as one of, if not the most potent emblem of the loyalist cause, one which not only symbolized loyalty to the Emperor, but one that the traitor legions would ultimately fail to recognize. As a result, whenever wandering refugees or seemingly displaced remnants of an Imperial Army regiment were encountered by civilian caravans or military patrols, it became fairly quick and easy to determine as to whether or not they were truly who they said they were, or if they were a part of the enemy's attempt at subterfuge. And that concludes this edition of 40k Lore for Newcomers. If you liked this video, consider supporting us on Patreon for more content. To those that are new to 40k, we hope you learned something. So leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.